What's up, NBA fanatics? Picture this. You're a 22-year-old kid from Montreal. 2 years ago, you were living the dream, selected 24th overall in the NBA draft by the Dallas Mavericks. First round money, first round expectations, first round dreams. Fast forward to yesterday afternoon and boom, your NBA team just showed you the door. Using something called Wave and Stretch. This is the harsh, unforgiving reality of professional basketball. And today, we're diving deep into one of the most heart-wrenching, yet strategically brilliant moves the Mavericks have made this offseason. Buckle up, because this story has everything. Championship aspirations, salary cap mathematics, and one young man's NBA dreams getting crushed for the greater good. Let me paint you a picture of just how brutal this situation became for Dallas. Kyrie Irving, their all-star point guard, their championship co-pilot alongside Luka Doncic, is done. Completely done. We're talking about a torn ACL that's going to sideline him for at least half the season, possibly the entire 2025-26 campaign. Think about that for a second. The Mavericks just made the NBA Finals 2 seasons ago. They've got Luka entering his prime. They've got championship windows that don't stay open forever. And now their second best player is watching from the sidelines in street clothes. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is where front office executives earn their paychecks. The Mavericks aren't just dealing with an injury crisis, they're dealing with what I like to call salary cap purgatory. They're hard capped at the second apron. For those who don't live and breathe NBA salary cap rules, that means they have zero flexibility. They're sitting just $1.5 million under their absolute spending limit. In NBA terms, that's like trying to fit a king-size mattress through a doggy door. And sitting right there on their roster is Olivier Maxence Prosper, carrying a $3 million contract. Money they desperately need to address their point guard crisis. Now here's where this story gets its first plot twist. The Mavericks have their eyes on someone who can save their season. Dante Exum. This isn't some random free agent pickup. This is a guy who knows the system, who's been in Dallas for 2 years, who averaged 8 points per game while shooting an absolutely ridiculous 47% from three-point range. Exum isn't just a backup point guard, he's exactly what championship teams need. Experienced, reliable, clutch when it matters. But there's one massive problem. They can't afford him with Prosper's contract on the books. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Olivier Maxence Prosper himself. This isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet, folks. This is a young man who was drafted 24th overall just 2 years ago. In NBA terms, that's supposed to mean something. First-round picks are investments in the future. They're supposed to get time to develop. Prosper played in 92 games over 2 seasons. That's actually pretty good playing time for a late first-rounder. But here's the heartbreaking part. He was averaging just 10 minutes per game. 10 minutes. That's barely enough time to get warm, let alone show what you can really do. His stats tell the story of untapped potential. 3.5 points, 2.2 rebounds, shooting just under 40% from the field. Those aren't terrible numbers for a development player. But in today's NBA, potential doesn't pay the bills when championship windows are closing. Here's what makes this story even more painful. The Mavericks tried to save Prosper's career. They shopped him around the league, looking for any team willing to take on his contract. But here's the brutal reality of NBA business. Other teams weren't just unwilling to trade for him, they wanted Dallas to attach a second-round pick just to take him off their hands. Imagine that conversation in Mark Cuban's front office. Not only will nobody take this kid who we drafted in the first round, but they want us to pay them to take him. That's when you know the writing is on the wall. The final nail in the coffin. Dallas has Cooper Flagg, the rookie phenom everyone's been talking about. They've got Anthony Davis patrolling the paint. PJ Washington is locked into the starting lineup. When you're carrying that many forwards, somebody's got to go. And unfortunately for Prosper, NBA math is ruthless. Championship contention trumps development projects every single time. This is where things get absolutely fascinating from a front office perspective. The Mavericks didn't just cut Prosper, they used something called the Wave and Stretch provision. This is pure financial wizardry, folks. Instead of taking a $3 million cap hit all at once, they're spreading it over 3 years. That means just $1 million per year for the next 3 seasons. It's like paying off a credit card with a payment plan instead of paying the full balance immediately. The result? They immediately dropped $3.6 million under the second apron. In salary cap terms, that's like finding a bag of money in your couch cushions. They've gone from having no flexibility whatsoever to having enough space to bring back their ideal backup point guard. And here's the beautiful part of this entire operation. Dante Exum fits like a glove. He made $3 million last year, so the Mavericks can bring him back without him having to take a pay cut. This isn't some desperate move where they're asking a veteran to sacrifice money for a championship shot. This is a clean, professional reunion between a team and a player who have already proven they work well together. Exum's numbers from last season are exactly what championship teams need from their backup point guard. 75 games played, 52% shooting from the field, 47% from three-point range. Those aren't just good numbers, those are elite efficiency numbers that win playoff games. But here's what makes this move absolutely brilliant from a championship perspective. They're not just solving their immediate point guard crisis. They're sending a message to the entire roster that this organization will make the tough decisions necessary to win. Prosper wasn't terrible, but he wasn't moving the needle for a team trying to get back to the finals. Now, before you start feeling too bad for Olivier Maxet's Prosper, remember this. The kid is 22 years old, he's got NBA experience, and he's about to become a free agent. The report specifically mentions that he's shown enough flashes in Dallas to garner interest from other NBA teams. Sometimes getting waived is exactly what a young player needs. Look at guys like Hassan Whiteside, Jeremy Lin, or even Alex Caruso. Players who found their footing after being moved from their original teams. Prosper's NBA story isn't over. It might just be getting started somewhere else. For the Mavericks, this move perfectly encapsulates what championship-level decision-making looks like. They identified their biggest weakness, point guard depth behind an injured Kyrie Irving. They identified their solution, bringing back Dante Exum. And they made the tough but necessary move to make it happen. This is exactly the kind of ruthless efficiency that separates championship organizations from everyone else. The Warriors built dynasties by making moves like this. The Lakers, the Celtics, the Heat. Every great organization has moments where they choose championship pursuit over sentiment. And that is how you execute a masterclass in NBA roster construction, folks. But this is just the beginning of what's shaping up to be one of the most insane NBA seasons we've ever seen. The transactions are flying fast and furious. Championship races are heating up, and I've got my finger on the pulse of every single move that matters. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on all the latest NBA news, trades, signings, and insider analysis, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Coming up next, we're breaking down the 3 most shocking moves that could still happen before the season starts. And trust me, one of them involves a superstar you'd never expect to be on the trading block. Don't miss it.